Well, hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to the Gentleman's Chat. I'm your host, Rehash, the stirrer of chaos, and I have another amazing segment on Hazbin Hotel, Episode 7. Let's not wait any longer. I'm dying to see what happens after what we got last time with Heaven. The episode begins in the hotel lobby where we're actually focusing on the fact that Vaj was an angel the entire time. Seems kind of a waste of time, especially when you consider the fact that the angels are coming and there's no way to stop them, and they're going to attack the hotel first. They're all as good as dead. But sure, let's just all focus on the smallest elephant in the room possible, because that's what's important. The obvious plot twist. And for that matter, where's Charlie during all this? Oh, she's upstairs all alone in a room by herself, completely vulnerable and ripe for the picking. Oh, this is it. This is it, isn't it? The moment where he finally makes his move. Oh, I'm on the edge of my seat. I haven't been this excited since I found out that Shadow was going to be voiced by Keanu Reeves. So Charlie is found all alone in her bedroom, crying rivers of tears because she feels as though she doomed her hotel to death by angel, and she couldn't get anybody up. Well, I suppose it's not 100% her fault. I would say it's more 30% her fault. Maybe even drop it down to 25. But here comes Big Daddy Alistair, who comforts Charlie in her hour of need while she's alone, vulnerable, and easy to persuade. Oh, yes, getting good. So Alistair lets Charlie vent her tales of woe to the only ear available, all the while slowly manipulating her into getting on his page, even offering some friendly advice on the true power of a smile. Oh, this is Joker levels of manipulation going on here. So after cleverly steering the conversation exactly to where Alistair wants it, Charlie finally asks the question of what can she possibly do, and she'll do anything to solve the problems of the angels, but there's no way to defeat them. And this is Alistair's chance. He offers her just enough of a bait in order to get the poor thing to bite. And then he offers a deal. A simple deal. A very one-sided deal. For Charlie's soul? Oh, no, nothing quite so quaint. No, just for a single favor. One favor of his choosing, a completely blank check, where no one gets hurt, and then, bada bing, bada boom, Alistair reveals what he knows. Now, if Charlie had a support network, this never would have happened. But remember, they're using the angel secret to keep Vaj away. So Charlie, regrettably, makes the deal. But the series of events does make one wonder. What possible favor could Alistair be wanting that doesn't actually require Charlie's soul? I mean, he could have asked for the soul, and I bet she would have gladly had given it to him if it meant saving her friends in the hotel. I mean, could you imagine the kind of power that Alistair would wield if he had the Princess of Hell's souls under his command? But no, he doesn't ask for it. What could he possibly want? Well, by the time the other residents of the hotel try to figure out what's going on, the deed is done. The deal has been made. Charlie now owes Alistair one blank check favor where no one gets hurt. And with that, she now knows what Alistair knows. And what Alistair knows is angels can be killed in hell by some unknown source. And the one who knows this source is Camilla. So they have a game plan. Vaggie is going to go off to confront Camilla about how to defeat the angels, while Charlie and Alistair rally up an army that he just so happens to know contacts for that could rile up on a moment's notice. Convenient. Why wasn't that part of the deal? But what about the other residents? Well, Vag pretty much tells them if you don't want to die, you don't want to be here. So, yeah. Goodbye, we understand. Oh, woe is me, the dilemma of them having to choose between staying and fighting and— Oh, come on, we all know they're going to stay. So we cut to Charlie, who's currently unloading all of her trauma and problems onto a non-caring, non-listening Alistair, before she finally asks the right questions. Where the hell are they? Alistair answers, Cannibal Town. The very town with the very overlord of hell that can give them the army they need in order to fight Angel's assault. Remember that overlord that looked like Jack Skellington's tiger aunt? Well, this is Rosie, that very same overlord, and her personality is just exactly as I had imagined it to be. She also appears to be good friends with Alistair, who in turn introduces her to Charlie. So, after getting the pleasantries out of the way and Charlie getting back seeing an actually decent person in hell, despite the whole, cannibal thing, she eventually unloads everything that's been built up and needs to ask the ultimate favor. Can she support the cause to defend the hotel from the angel invasion? Rosie says she's all down for it, but unfortunately, it's never quite as simple as that. We then cut to Vag, who's currently banging outside of Camilla's armed dealers, demanding to know her secret of how she did it. And if she doesn't explain how she did it, she'll tell everybody on the street what had transpired the day this all started. Wanting to keep the secret, Camilla did open up, but she is not happy. I'm guessing an arms dealer of hell doesn't respond well to threats, especially threats that she's trying to keep secret. And she even tells Vag, give me one good reason in the next 10 seconds why I shouldn't kill you now and keep the secret permanently. Vag does make an attempt to play at greater morality, but you're in hell, so try again. So Vag decides to play a different game and say once the angels are done at the hotel, they'll attack all of hell, everyone, and they're not going to stop this time. They're just going to keep exterminating, and that means you, your entire operation, and your daughters are going to die, unless you tell me the secret of how you killed an angel. What did you do? And that's when she decides, time's up. Camilla uses jump kick! So, I found this out recently, but apparently the demon souls of hell, all the people who go down, take on the forms of their inner selves, quote-unquote. And in hell, they take on forms that resemble more punishments than anything else. In Camilla's case, then, was her punishment form being overly sexy? What is up with those legs, lady? I'm not really a footman, but damn! So Rosie gathers up all the cannibals in order for a large group meeting for Charlie to pitch her idea. She rationalizes that while they do trust her, Rosie, they don't necessarily trust Charlie, because even though she is a princess of hell, she's also a stranger. Why should they listen to her? So she has one real shot in order to get all of them to listen to her. And they operate on hive mind mentality. If one disagrees, they all disagree. And there's one in particular that needs to be dealt with. One named Susan. I think this is code for Karen without actually saying Karen. Well, she lives up to the name. Charlie can't even get a single word in without her completely trying to upstage her, outshine her, and completely be rude, crude, and genuinely disrespectful. Yep, this is a Karen, all right. Charlie does her absolute gung-ho best to try to keep everything running smoothly, but Susan won't let her even go a single second without shutting her down, shutting her up, and just being a genuine bitch. So, Charlie responds in the only appropriate manner to deal with a Karen.
You old bitch!
I don't even know why I'm laughing so hard. It wasn't even that funny. It's just the delivery. It was entirely delivery and just the build-up. Fuck that bitch. We cut back to Vaj, who's really not faring too much better. In fact, she's getting her ass whooped. There's nothing she could do that could actually hurt Camilla at the moment. But the more you study Camilla, the more you realize that she's not actually fighting her. Well, she's kicking her ass, but she's not fighting her. She's training her. Training her to fight the angels. She also makes it very much apparent that she knows full on well that Vaj is an angel. With the same context clues that I picked up on episode 1. Seriously, how is anyone fooled by this? It's not that hard to put together. And finally, after 7 episodes in of build-up and secret-keeping, Camilla finally reveals exactly what the source of her power is to kill the angels. And the answer was rather simple. Angelic steel. The very weapons used to kill the hellborn souls can kill a heaven soul as well. In other words, an angel. It's here Camilla reveals the incident of what happened that day. While running from some of the executioners with her daughter, she ends up getting cornered. She manages to get her daughters out of there, but has to engage in the executioners. It was between her daughters, or the angel, and she chose her daughters. She wanted to keep this incident covered up, but clearly that backfired. So I know Charlie was blaming herself earlier for causing all these problems because angels and all that other business and the extermination and but they were going to do that anyway regardless. So in a way, if you really think about it, all of this could have been avoided if Camilla didn't kill the angel. Everything wrong that's happening right now is directly Camilla's fault. I mean, you're an arms dealer in hell. Don't you have anyone who could, dispose of the bodies? Well, during a training montage, we get a song, the first song of the episode, which is Out for Love. And Camilla's voice isn't fire. She's the damn volcano that is hot. And all of her dance choreography, the movements, the fact that Vaggie is actually learning to fight in her unique style. Oh, it is so beautifully choreographed that I don't even care that the lyrics are shit. Your heart is burning for vengeance, Vaggie, you're out for blood. But you only stand a chance if you're out for love. You see what I mean? So by the end of the song, Vaggie does manage to master this unique fighting style of dance choreography with a spear, and, as a surprise bonus, she ends up getting her angelic wings back. Now, I did learn some of the lore here. Apparently, hell and heaven souls can regrow their limbs and hurt body parts, but it's a long and extraordinarily painful process. So the fact that she got her angel wings at this exact moment back isn't really all that surprising to me. However, I did not know this fact until after I watched this episode. So this was I thought it was just some sort of weird transitional power thing where she redeemed herself. So to see that she really did not redeem herself and she just regenerated her wings, kinda sucks a lot of the energy out of it, don't you think? Like, it just happened to be at this exact moment, at this exact time, in exact place, and at this exact sentence of the finale of the song, did she finally get her angelic wings back. But it couldn't have fixed her eye? So we cut back to Charlie post-meltdown, and Rosie is comforting her, and asking her what the real issue is. And Charlie dumps all of her girl problem, relationship problem, angel girlfriend problem onto Rosie. And, I can't help but feel as though Charlie's being a little bit of a hypocrite. because, you know, she's all about redeeming and giving second chances, and yet she's struggling so much with Vaggie. And Rosie kind of points that out. In fact, Rosie, in the kindest way possible, way kinder than what I could ever imagine myself doing, giving her the slap across the back of the head she needs, and tells her, "Girl, you're all about second chances. How is this any different? And she lied to you. Look where we are. Name one person in hell that has never lied." Vaggie's entire character is helping you. That's it. That's all. That's all she does. How can you not see that she is a genuinely honest person, with the exception of this one lie? So after Charlie realizes this incredible non-issue is a non-issue in this show, she finally goes back to the cannibals and tries again. This time, working her magic not through words, but through song. So, words that just occasionally rhyme, with musical accompaniment. And things work a lot more in her favor, because she's allowed to express herself in the way that she feels the most comfortable. The level of the Disney princess is born. Ah. But of course, with all the power that Charlie is now getting due to the cannibals, Alistair has a much more long-term investment in that favor. I can't help but Alistair is doing the longest game possible. I don't think he's going to cash it in just yet. I think it's going to be when her influence is at its most peak will Alistair finally cash in. But that's a theory for another day. So the rest of the episode is pretty straightforward by the book. Charlie gives Vag a shrunken head to prove that they've made up. They go back to the hotel to find no one's abandoned it, and they're actually prepping it for war. Everything's all smiles and cheers as they all prepare for the inevitable death storm that's going to be raining down upon them all. But they got an army, they got weapons, they have fortifications, so they're about as ready as they're going to be in this conflict. And so, the war begins in episode 8. But right now, let's worry about episode 7. I feel like this episode suffers a lot from Captain Marvel syndrome, as I've been calling it. Being placed smack dab between two really good episodes, where this one feels a lot more lackluster than what it actually was. So take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. Out for Love definitely was the highlight of this episode. Camilla singing is divine despite being in hell. But unfortunately the lyrics weren't exactly on par with Hell is Forever, or even some of the other songs in this series. But the music, the voice, everything else was so perfect that I don't even care. Alistair eating any amount of screen time is always enjoyable. The man could just simply be sitting there picking his nose, and everyone and their brother would think, "Oh no, it looks like his plan is developing even further," without even knowing what his ultimate goal is. And Rosie is a surprisingly down-to-earth demon lord as compared to all the other ones we've seen. Really nice, refreshing. Everything else I didn't really care for. Charlie, for someone who's supposed to be all about redeeming souls and giving people second chances, and even forgiving individuals who straight up tried to murder her in exchange for trying to redeem their souls, she was awfully unforgiving towards her girlfriend, who just hid the fact that she was an angel. A fallen angel, so technically she did belong there. Maybe the extermination part is the part that really sells it, but even still, demons do worse shit to each other than just exterminate their souls. I don't see why it took this long and an entire episode, and Rosie telling her that she's in the wrong for her to realize she's in the wrong here. And what's with all this blaming that Charlie is throwing on herself? Yes, some of it might be blaming her, but again, that's like a small amount that she's actually blamed for. Mainly just targeting the hotel. And that's mostly just the Dick Master being a dick. If you look at it with any amount of scrutiny, technically it's all Camilla's fault. She was the one who killed the angel, she was the one who didn't cover it up, and she was the one who let the body be found. And of course, she told no one else, except for Vag, how to defeat the angels, knowing full well they would be pissed. So yeah, under every circumstance, this is all Camilla's fault. Everything else in the episode was just par for the course. Nothing offensive, but nothing too graphically over the top. Just bare bones, middle of the ground. All laying the foreground to whatever they happen to have going on in the final episode of the season. Oh wow, it's already the final episode of the season. Man, these just went by, didn't they? Regardless, I'll have to see you next time, unfortunately, my little chaos beings. Until then, I am Rehash, the stirrer of chaos, and I'll see you next time.